gross way I start my streams. I'm gonna get water. Oh, I got sound on back there. That's probably not good. Boom. Sound's off. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to wait a little bit before I start because no one's here yet, even though this is definitely going to go to YouTube in a second. Yeah, I guess I don't need my open broadcaster on anymore. It's been a while since I've streamed. But hey, one person's watching. Hello. To be honest, I guess I'll wave at the camera for you people who are watching this video after my stream's like done, and that could be your cue to be like, oh, I should listen in now because I guess we're really starting now. I'm just gonna wait until at least a couple people fill in because I know I've said this a little bit. And if anyone on the stream wants to ask any questions while we're waiting, that's totally okay. I guess I should have just threw like a card up. I could probably do that. In fact, I probably should just do that. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw a card up while we're waiting for a couple people to come in. I think I'm going to start in about 5 minutes, so 11:10 is when I'll get started with everything, and just hopefully people will jump in. Alright. And the break card. Whoa, you can still hear my voice. Hi. Oh, we're back. I see. We're back. Um, my hair is doing something funky. Hey guys. Alright, so we got a couple people on the stream now, so might as well start recording video for, everyone else anyways. Uh, I have sheets and things that I wanted to go over today. Yeah, because I was prepared and I took notes. And I'll go over that with you guys. Just a brief introduction about what I'm gonna do today. And at any point in time, if you guys want to comment on the chat, you can. I'll see it. It's on the second monitor. I've got two. Uh, what I want to talk about is how I want to test the new meta, and go over what the new meta is without the twin. Now this is just like the meta as it currently is, not necessarily as it's going to be right away. It's only 3 days in, so it's not like there's a ton of stuff to go over. Then I also want to, after that, theorycraft build Gruul. That's the green, red, tiny one. Based on those numbers that we looked at, and then I want to test with both of that for a while, and then I want to theory build the Kokozu, which is arguably the more important one out of the two, since Collected Company builds tend to be very highly meta dependent. So depending on what you do, you can do some crazy stuff with it. And then test that one out for about an hour. Both of them are going to be tested out for about an hour. And at the very end, I want to talk about how they both worked, what you could do to change them, what I think is better. Is, I guess, the end result is I want to know which one I'd prefer to play as my main zoo. And then I also have a handy-dandy checklist that I made. Woo, look at this checklist, yay! That basically says whether or not I think those decks are going to be successful. For the Gruul Zoo deck list check, it's going to be, did I hit the turn 4 win at least 70% of the time? I think that's super important with Gruul Zoo. I mean, you're trading consistency. Well, I wouldn't say consistency. You're trading long term for speed. So strictly speaking, if you're not hitting that turn 4 win, you might as well be playing red deck wins. It's just probably a better option at that point. And that still might be a thing where red deck wins is just a better option than Gruul Zoo. And then sort of a substance of that is how much did Reckless Bushwhacker actually help me get that turn 4 win? Because if I'm getting that turn 4 win without the Reckless Bushwhacker and the Reckless Bushwhacker is just not being used, it's just useless, then I've got no reason to have it in my deck. The other one is, next is going to be for Pump. Did the Pump help? The deck I'm going to be using, I think, probably going to have more Pump in it than removal spells. And there's always sort of this precarious balance that you have to do between the two for Gruul Zoo. So I want to see if the Pump was better or worse than removal. Is it just like, did it help me win because there was combo games out there and it sped my deck up so that eventually I won, or was it just worse overall, Then the next part was, like, did my removal help? I think I've got 6 removal spells that I'm probably going to put in the Gruul Zoo main. And the real question is it better than the Pump? Would the Pump do the same exact thing that removals do, with the upside of just being extra speed against the uninteractive big mana decks? If so, then Pump's better than the removal. The last one is, again, like, did the Bushwhacker actually help me win the game? If the Bushwhacker didn't help me win the game, or I'm finding every time I'm casting it it's sucking, then it's not good. Point blank. Then the Collected Company ones that I want to go over is going to be, was the Hate Bear strategy working? Collected Company, you have your core, which is in essence just the Zoo core, which is just an aggressive, hardcore aggro. But then with Collected Company and your Hate Bears, you can sort of make a couple things so that way, even though you're not playing counterspells or interactivity, you can do a proactive strategy to interrupt your opponent. So depending on what I'm going to see, hopefully they help, and if they don't help, well, that kind of sucks, right? That defeats the purpose of running the whole deck in the first place. And then the second subset to that is I want to see if Coco grabbed them, Collected Company grabbed them. Collected Company's not making, like, my sideboard's not being really utilized all that well with creatures, and Collected Company isn't grabbing it, well then maybe things like a Johnny Vengeant or Elspeth is a better thing to have in there, or maybe just more beaters. I don't know. So if Collected Company is not helping my sideboard, basically Collected Company, by virtue of being in my deck, added to my sideboard, then I have a better game 2 and 3 no matter what, because it's like I'm getting extra card versions of my sideboard cards, then it's not worth running. And like, dude, the tree guys left at perfect time because they were here chopping a tree down. So now they're gone. That's the other part is, would Elspeth have been better than Collected Company? There's always been a long-standing debate as to whether Elspeth is better than Collected Company. Rarely Chandra. And I've always been on the Collected Company camp, but if it's not, like, if I'm not grabbing anything useful with it, it's not useful. The next thing is, would I rather counter? Would I rather have some counter spells, basically negate and stubborn denial? And if I would, that means that I would have to dip into blue. At any point in time, do I feel like I need to dip into blue, maybe for Geist? Then would I rather destroy things, straight up destroy things with, like, maybe Abrupt Decays, Terminates, stuff like that? In that case, I would have to dip into black. Am I too slow? Like, is this deck just, like, too slow? Is it just not going to win the game fast enough? And if that's the case, then that gives a point to the Gruul Zoo. I guess Gruul Zoo should also have the thing is, does it run out of gas? I'm going to write that in right now. And likewise, because if it does run out of gas, then that means Collected Company would be better. And then the last part of that is, did I pick correct 3 CMCers? We have sort of a couple flex spots in our deck other than Knight of the Rookery to grab some CMCers. 3 CMCers. That's 2, 3. And if, like, I don't want to pick Luxodon Smiter if there's no blue decks. And if I just run into a frick ton of blue decks, then I might have to have Luxodon Smiters. Things like that. Another card I'm also testing is Natural State. Is it better than... Basically, I'm just going to shove it in my sideboard and see how often it comes up. Is it better than Destructive Revelry, aka does the 2 life total points matter? Is it better than Stony Silence, aka do I need blanket effects, or can one destroy thing work? Is it better than Ancient Grudge, aka do I need 2 hits instead of 1 hit? And is it better than D-Command? Do I need protection from red deck wins or removal of my sideboard? So I'm going to have to look into that and decide. The other thing is, I also got, let's see, I also got the Crumble to Dusts if I need them, which I might. And I think that's it. If anyone's got any questions, shoot it right now. It would be great. Oh, 5. Look at that. We went up. More people are watching now. So overall, that's what I'm gonna do today. Hopefully my voice doesn't die halfway through. Okay. So I do actually have a little bit of data to scream at y'all. And that is, I've taken the results that have been published online for the last 3 days of Twins banning online and looked at it and basically made a little pie chart as to what the beta is, because I'm a dork. I'm obviously a dork. I'm wearing pajamas. And yeah, these are my pajamas. Get over it. Anyways, so here is said pie chart. Let's see, do I have anything I need to... No. So there's the pie chart. Look at that. You can even see what my links are up here. I don't care. So this is the pie chart. And the truth is, there seems to be a glaring thing happening in that pie chart. And that pie chart glaringness is affinity. There's a fuck ton of it. There is an unnatural fuck ton of affinity. Affinity's always been like secretly the best deck of modern, and it's just never gets the ban. Uh, Instead, Splinter Twin gets the ban. God rest its soul. And there's a couple other things we want to note at. Jund has 3. That's important to recognize that Jund has 3. It's not nearly dead as people were thinking it is. It's doing pretty well. I would say Jund is probably not. Is 2 to 3 is your respective doing very well in this new meta right now. 1 means that it could just be a outliner. If you had 4, that would mean it would be like a tier 1 deck in this new meta. And if you have 9, it means it's ungodly good right now. So Affinity is there, which means Affinity is stupidly good right now. And if we go down the list here as to what the other numbers are, we've got 3 on Jund, we've got 2 on Scapeshift, 2 on Junk, 2 on Eldrazi, and specifically speaking, because the Eldrazi decks aren't set in stone yet, 1 was red and did not have Kozilek's Return, and had instead Lightning Bolts basically in the main, and that was it. And the other one was just black. Both of them were the processor version, not the Heartless Summoning version. Then we've got, let's see what else it's got too. Summoning Trap, Tooth and Nail. It was 2 different decks, but I kind of lumped them together because they were pretty much the same deck. Summoning Trap and Tooth and Nail, it's basically big mana. Get yourself into something big. And then we've got a bunch of Peppering at 1. We got Ad Nauseam at 1, which people have been talking about as like the new combo deck, since Twin was basically the reason it couldn't exist. We've got, let's see here, Merfolk at 1, Kiki Chord by Jeff Hooligan at 1, Green White Collected Company at 1. That one was not like Zoo, it was just randomly good Collected Company cards. We've got Gruul Zoo with 1. We've got a Nightfall deck that was banned with 1, although it did have a red in there. I think it had Cinderglade for Keswick Wolfrun. We have Collected Company Zoo at 1, Infect at 1, and Red Deck Wins at 1. So some fallacies that people were thinking about is Infect and Red Deck Wins were going to be everywhere. They are not. They are barely showing up. And that's probably got a lot to do with Jund and Junk being still top decks like people thought they weren't going to be. Turns out they are, and that's going to mess with them. I guess Eldrazi also isn't as good as people thought it would be. It's not where Affinity is at 9 over here. Affinity came out of the post-ban at best right now. So we know we're going to need a sideboard for Affinity. Without any further ado, I'm just going to grab this aside. There is a link that I'm going to throw you guys in the sideboard. I guess I'm going to toss this in here too. In the sideboard, in the chat. I'll toss the pie chart in there. I don't know if this pie chart link's going to work. I didn't test it. There you go. There's a pie chart. You guys are seeing my animes that I was looking at. Whoopsies. I don't care. Yeah, I was trying to see. I do animation, so for what it's worth, that's something. There's that, and then let's do this link as well. This is going to be the data that I was using. I made this huge post for everybody as to what you can use, you can expect to use for Zoo in the Collected Company deck, and basically what spells do what and what they're good against and what they're bad against. Let's go ahead and refresh this, see if I got anything new on the... Nope, nothing new on the Zoo thread. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and start, without further ado, building some Gruul Zoo, because that's the first one I want to trade on. Gruul Zoo is a little easier to do in Mind. That is, if you are playing, if you basically aren't really knowing what you want to do, then Gruul Zoo makes a difference. because it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't your sideboarding is going to be easier. You're not really going to make any mistakes. Looking at this, we're not. By the way, I want to make this clear if that wasn't in the pie chart and it wasn't clear enough. There are like 0 blue decks in this meta. I have not hit any hard control decks in here. I haven't seen a Delver deck. I haven't seen a Grixis deck. The closest that I've seen to a blue control deck is Merfolk, which is an aggro deck. It's not like a blue control deck. And the Scapeshift. There was 2 Scapeshifts, and that has what, like remands and cryptic commands. It's not a ton. So the whole blue deck thing, I don't really need to worry about it of being a blue deck meta so far, at least. Now this all might change when we're testing, and I'm just seeing nothing but blue decks. But it very much looks like it's a red meta. It's got red cards everywhere. Everywhere there's red. Affinity has red in it and uses whip as well as Whiplash, as well as Galvanic Blast and Blood Moon. Scapeshift has red. Jund has red. Junk does not. Ad Nauseam doesn't. The Eldrazi, one of them had red. Merfolk doesn't. Kiki Court has red. Green White Company does not. Summoning Trap had red. Gruul Zoo had red. Nightfall didn't necessarily had red, but kind of had red. Collected Company had red. Infect did not have red. Red Deck Wins did have red. So it's pretty much a red bolt meta right now. So these mutagenic growths, which I didn't have at some point in time in the deck, are getting better and better and better. The other thing is, if it's a red meta, that might mean things like we need to work more on like Unflinching Courage, which gives our creatures basically protection from bolt as well as helps us out there. Stony Silence I'm going to take out. It doesn't necessarily mean that Stony Silence is bad. I want to make that clear, that what I'm doing here is not taking out Stony Silence because I think it's bad, but because I think it's I want to test Natural State out more. And I think Natural State's better for Grim Lavamancer if I keep Grim Lavamancer. I'm actually going to take out the Ancient Grudges as well, just full up on Natural States. Just because I want to test it, especially with Affinity coming up. I think I'll run into it enough time. And this deck is a little pre-built, by the way. I should be clear as to why I was thinking about it. I haven't touched the Collected Company deck at all yet. So that will be an adventure that you guys will have with me. To be clear here, is 19 lands. I really wanted to test the Reckless Bushwhacker because everyone seems to love it, and I'm still pretty torn as to whether I think it's good or not. I think it's good in certain situations, and then other situations I think it's not so great. Oh gosh, where's Reckless Bushwhacker? I'm like probably going right over it, right? Keep. Oh, no. This doesn't cost 2 mana. That's right, it costs 3, technically. That's another down reason to it. Okay. Where are you, Reckless Bushwhacker? There you are. I'm going to toss all 4 in. I don't think 4 is the correct number. I think 2 is probably the correct number. I'm going to cut Tarmogoyf because it's the correct amount. Actually, I'm going to cut Gore-Clan. I'm going to cut 1 Gore-Clan out there. That might be risky. I think we might need the trample, but whatever. And I'm going to also cut 1 Tarmogoyf. Reason being, I don't want to cut any of the 1-drops. I've been testing this deck a lot lately prior to this because I haven't been super sharp on this one. And I think you need the 1-drops. You desperately need the 1-drops, especially to turn on Reckless Bushwhacker. So I'm going to cut 1 Tarmogoyf. That's not something I normally do. I'm just going to be honest with you here. One of the best tips I've ever been given is if you're going to test something, put 4 of it in wherever you're going to test it. So that way you can know if it's good or not. Or whether you need more copies or less copies. You can always cut copies. It's not hard to cut copies, but to see more in testing is good. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually take out 1 Tarmogoyf. I was going to shave 2, but I'm going to leave 1 in there. To go over some things that I have, there's a couple big mana decks in the meta, you've got Scape Shift, Junk. They're not big mana, but they've got big creatures. Eldrazi, Kiki Cord, Summoning Trap. Um, Overall, there's a fair amount of what we would call mid-range, what we call aggro, what we call big mana. That's about it in the meta right now. If you want to think about like just overall, and as such, Path to Exile should probably find copies in the main board. Maybe even a couple copies in the sideboard. I'm just leaving the Grim Lavamancers in there for the aggro matchup. Goblin Guides are better than Vexing Devils in my opinion. Yes, it doesn't really quote unquote matter if you've got a Reckless Bushwhacker giving it sort of, haste. So the haste doesn't matter on this guy, and it turns into just, a Savannah Lion basically. But I found that Vexing Devil probably isn't the answer because Vexing Devil gets killed 90% of the time. It's never going to be on the creature as a board. And, I mean, it can be, but it's not really going to be. So Goblin Guide seems to be the safer choice. It's getting in for the same amount of damage that Vexing Devil is, even though it's not evolving E1 all the way up. It's doing its work. Crit Ape, because you have E1s, you got to run a full set. And Bolts, because they're awesome. Reckless Bushwhackers, again, I think this is probably a 3 of or 2 of tops, but I'm running 4 for testing. Got Mutagenic Growth, that's to turn on Reckless Bushwhacker when you top deck him if you haven't used the Mutagenic Growth yet, and there's so much Bolt in the meta. Experiment 1 to basically run 4 Nacatls. Look, I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's been taking a lot of work. Tarmogoyfs, because Tarmogoyfs evolve E1. I know people are very hurt because it costs so much money, but it's a good card. Burning Tree would never cut. This is the reason to play Gruul Zoo. If you're not going to play, I wouldn't play Gruul Zoo if I didn't have Burning Tree. Tarkus Command, because this is the deck that uses a Tarkus Command the best. Red Deck Wins does not use it the best, but this deck uses it the best. Gore Clan, because you're going to have big things that you need to trample over. And that's actually one of the reasons why I was hesitant to cut one of them. I honestly think 2 might be the right one. That's just what my gut's telling me, but I'll find out in testing. The mana base hasn't really changed very much. I've cut 1 Forest from the basic thing to run 2 extra Dryad Arbors, and they get better with Reckless because you can fetch for a Dryad Arbor and then Reckless and give everything haste if you've cast something else that turn, that is. And that'll help you out a lot. Sideboard, I think this probably is where I'm going to keep the sideboard. I probably could go up in a Flinching Courage, maybe down 1. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove 1 copy because I haven't found enough decks that I want to side in the Eidolon, but I have found enough decks that I want to side in the Unflinching Courage against. So I'm going to take the Unflinching Courage in there and make it a 3-3 split. The Unflinching Courage comes in against mostly the Red Deck Wins matchup and the other aggro matchups. It seems weird that you'd bring it in there, but it's a top ender that helps you swing the game towards your favor. Then we've got Grim Lavamancers. That's against the aggro matchups to try to slow down some stuff on the field. The Eidolon, the Great Revels against the mid-range matchups or the control matchups that seem to be non-existent, as well as the combo matchups. And there's enough mid-range to justify it in here, even if there's not that much control. And then there's Molten Rains. That's for the big mana matchups. And also the mid-range matchups because they slow it down 1 turn. Natural State is Natural State. You can basically take it from there. Do I play Nightfall anymore? I don't. And the reason why is there is so much Relic of Progenitus in the meta. At least when I left it, that was the reason. And there's also a fair amount of aggro. So I was getting hurt a lot that way. You can change your sideboard to hurt the aggro matchup, but it gets a little weird. Overall, I don't play it just because right now I think the better mana is better, and I like rocking Blood Moon, although that's quickly changing, so I might go back to it. If I was gonna go into the Nightfall version of the deck again, it would be in the Collected Company section that I'm gonna get to. For that's because the Collected Company version, I can decide if I want to go to Nightfall. If you go to that link that I posted, it actually talks about adding a splash and when it would be worth it, when it wouldn't be worth it. So again, I would look at the overall data. I haven't decided yet at all which would be my main deck. So that's going to be during the Collected Company part in about an hour. Um, and that was a comment, by the way, so if you guys feel free to comment, I'll talk to you guys about it as I see it up here. So I think this is probably where I want to stay with the Gruul Zoo. So let's go ahead and just get into some matches with it. And again, my big thing here is hoping that I'm not going to just run out of gas blatantly and utterly and then just die. That's always been my big problem with Gruul Zoo. It's just sometimes when you get the right cards, it's awesome, and then when you don't have the right cards, it's pretty terrible. Oh, hey, look at that. We've got 8 people now. That's dope. Hi, guys. So really, that's what I'm gonna hope is that I don't just like fall on my face constantly. I lost the die roll. That actually kind of sucks in this matchup, in this match in general. Okay, cool. So we have Reckless Bushwhacker. We've got nothing to turn on right away, though, so that's one of my worries. But I can at least still maybe bolt something, then put the Tarmogoyf out. Mantis Riders and Rampagers. That's kind of dope. If there wasn't so much bolt, I would care about the Mantis Rider, but there's a lot of bolts in the meta. But that's still kind of cool though. Mantis Rider with the Gore Clan. Kind of cool. Gore Clan's always a fun card. I actually really like Gore Clan, just because it's like a huge pissing contest. And actually, I think it goes into our favors. All right, so here's a blue deck and a Delver of Secrets. So we are definitely going to be playing the bolt into the Tarmogoyf here. Oh, hey, we can actually play. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I figured out my complete plan that I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a turn 2 Tarmogoyf, not Burning Tree, just a turn 2 Tarmogoyf. And then I'm going to crack this guy over here for a Dryad Arbor on turn 3. Burning Tree Emissary into Reckless Bushwhacker, attack with the whole team. Sounds pretty legit. Because I got no reason to have 1 mana unless I draw like a bolt or something. I need to get rid of that Young Pyro. Whenever he wants to let me search my library for a forest and put it into play. To be clear, if anyone's not used to the Dryad Arbor tech, it doesn't have. It comes with Summoning Sickness, so you can't actually tap it for mana right away. So Tarmogoyf is going to be bolt proof now. That's relatively important. Now I'm not playing in like things that are going to cost money. I'm not gonna test in that just because this is just seriously initial testing and nothing more. So you got to take what we see with a grain of salt. I'm actually going to write it down too. What we see here. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's competitive. It's just something that we're playing against, and we're mostly here to see how the deck functions and how Reckless Bushwhacker feels in it. Guy's playing a little slow. You could have lots of things to be considering right now. All right, no bolts. We drew into a land, so yeah, we're gonna go with our plan here. Before I crack this, I want to see if the Burning Tree Emissary will finalize. Because if not, then I've got no reason to... If it gets like remanded or something, then I've got no reason to crack right now. Yeah. And my reasoning was I don't want to crack this into just a place where it can get bolted at end of turn. So remand is fine. We're going to swing with the Tarmogoyf. If he decides to basically throw everything into block, that's fine. I mean, he could just have the bolt here and block with a token, which would suck, but isn't the worst. Yeah, I had to risk it, you know. I'm not going to win just by sitting here. But that's one of the problems here is the fact that this just isn't going to be the best matchup in the world for me. All right, let's try to go for it. We'll go for a burning tree. See if it lands. It's kind of crappy that we didn't have a turn 1 play. If we had a turn 1 play, we might have been way better. Cryptic command. Okay, that's fine. That sucks. We'll still go for the Curt Ape here instead of a Reckless Bushwhacker. I'm not going to do a Reckless Bushwhacker. It doesn't give me any value. And he's just got the perfect cards right now. There's nothing really I can do against this. Probe, sure. If he attacks, I could maybe trade if I want to go that route, but then I'm leaving him with 4 tokens, which are distinctly better than my 2-1. Yeah, we're not going to win this matchup. And I'm going to be honest with you guys here. If that was the Tarmogoyf, we would have been way better off than we are right now. So that's one hit against the Reckless Bushwhacker right now. Couldn't use it. Its pump thing was not worth it. I needed an actual beef. That bolt needed to come in way earlier. If he's got a counterspell, I'm just going to be mind blown. I don't think I could have played that any better. I could have not bolted the Delver, but the problem is if you don't bolt the Delver, you end up dying. 3 mana to electrolyze me. Yeah, there's no way I'm winning this. Especially after a team like that pops up. No, I'm not winning this game. Not even gonna show that I have anything else. Because he's just gonna swing and kill me. Alright, so Unflinching Courage comes in because he's an aggressive deck. Grim Lavamancer will come in. And so will Eidolon the Great Revel, because he just sort of flounders around a little bit. That's rough. And we're going to take out Gorklan because of the bolts. Again, I would want to maybe take out a Reckless Bushwhacker or two, but since we're testing it, I can't. Mutagenic Growths can stay in, so can Atarka's Commands. I don't want to take out the Tarmogoyfs. Yeah, we're going to cut the Bushwhackers. Sorry, guys, we're not testing Bushwhacker right now. Bushwhacker just seems terrible right here. Take out 1 Courage and one Eidolon. Really, the Bushwhacker seems just awful there. It like pumps once, and then just, if I don't have a board, because all he's doing is boarding in more removal against me, doesn't develop my board at all, whereas a Tarmogoyf would stick around. Don't really feel like getting like electrolyzed bait either. It's like pretty terrible as well. Alright, this is just a classic beatdown hand. Hopefully he doesn't have like a million spam blockers. Oh, we're at 9 now. Hello. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people know that I can stream on YouTube. This is the first time I'm actually doing it myself, so I have no clue. But it's actually pretty cool. I actually like it maybe a little bit more than Twitch. The fact that it's connected to my YouTube channel and that it can get uploaded afterwards is kind of huge. This guy plays a little slow, man. That's why I play Zoo. I don't like slow starts. Come on, dudes. Cool, thank you. I can play now. We're gonna start off with a experiment one and yield till end turn. We're not gonna go into Nakatl. We're gonna go into Nakatl, our Burning Tree Emissary, Nakatl. Sure. I don't care about that. This is gonna be the classic shove everything down there and win. Again, Reckless Bushwhacker not being super great here. Even though I've got a lot to do with it, it's just I have no board. Because he's going to be doing removal. We want to go for a Temple Garden. Our life total is going to suffer a little bit, but that's fine. Potentially, see, Reckless Bushwhacker is really good. Oh, I gotta write that down. I forgot that Reckless Bushwhacker did not help me. No, it did not in the game for me. I gotta keep note of this stuff. Reckless Bushwhacker is really good with Burning Tree, and when you don't have Burning Tree, it seems like it's probably not so great. And it's probably something I don't want to play till turn 3 anyways. I know people are like, oh, well, you play at turn 2 and then you do at least like 6 damage right away. It's like, that's cool and all, but I could do like 5 damage on turn 2 most of the time anyways. So 1 extra damage does not necessarily mean that I should make my deck worse for a chance to have it slightly better. I don't know. I'm being harsh on it right now. I'm trying to stay open-minded. And like some people are swearing by it, but like I'm saying, like there are times where you'll have like a god hand against with a Reckless Bushwhacker, and you'll just be awesome. But that's something that Gruul Zoo does normally anyways. Gruul Zoo normally has these like awesome plays where they just feel like, oh, I smashed my opponent. He had nothing he could do. It's true. It could happen. But that doesn't change the fact that as many times as you get those, if you go on a streak of those, it seems like you're doing awesome. But Gruul Zoo generally does not. It can go on a streak, and then it can like just totally not go on a streak, totally fail after that. Wish this guy was playing quicker, because I want to fit more matches in if humanly possible. I'll be doing this for about another 30 minutes anyways, so maybe fit 2 more matches in. I was hoping this would be the fastest one, because it means Gruul Zoo, yeah. when I'm normally editing videos, I could just like pause it and be like, all right, well, when he does his thing, I'll unpause it and be like, oh, like nothing ever happened. You'll just watch the time just like go from 20 minutes to 16. Not right now. Anyways, guys, if you want to talk to me about zoos, you know, what I do for my life, go for it. That's something that can happen during the times that I'm just blatantly waiting. Like, I don't want to abandon this match and just, like, thinking about it. This guy does, like, nothing. Alright, cool. Does that mean I win, like, total games? Yeah, okay. Thanks for wasting my time, dude. I'm about 9% sure I would have won that game, regardless. Thank you, someone who's playing now. Well, the die roll. Yep, I would like to play it. Alright, so we have a Reckless Bushwhacker. He's so reckless. And a Burning Tree. Now, here's one of those weird times where you gotta decide, do I want to hold the Burning Tree? I mean, I guess not. I guess I just go for, like, the strong swing, right? Yeah, I think that's the best bet. I'd have to draw a land for me not to want to do it. It would have to be a sequence of draw a land, draw a 1-mana spell, any 1-mana spell. Blood-Soaked Champion. Another thing that comes back to life. Okay, so we're playing some kind of like re-life strategy. Alright, so here's the 1-mana spell, but since we didn't get the land, the answer is going to be no. I'm just going to go for a... Well, maybe I don't. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play a risky play. I'm going to wait till turn 3. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a temple card. And I'm actually going to play... Let's see. If I play a Nicodle and a Curd Ape, next turn I can Burning Tree Emissary into Reckless, and I won't have to. It won't matter what pops up. But if a land pops up, then I can get a Dryad Arbor off of it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Because it's not like I'm dealing a couple less damage in the short game to deal more damage next turn, like significantly more. And if Reckless Bushwhacker turns out to be a better turn 3, turn 2 play, that's just the way it's going to have to be, you know? Turn 3, turn 4, yeah. So that's not a 4 of. Turn 3, turn 4. Okay, yep. We're just going to go for the explosion now. And this is turn 3, yes? Cast with Surge. I get quiet when I don't want to fuck things up. Jesus. We would have had him at 1 life? That's what the math was? Holy shit. Okay, Bushwhacker gets a nod now on this one. Alright, so Yes, Bushwhacker helped us get the turn 4 win. I did hit the turn 4 win here. I did not hit the turn 4 win last time, but I did get it last time before that. Did the pump help? Yes, pump helped. Did Bushwhacker end the game? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. So, did it run out of gas? No, not necessarily in that one game. So, just keeping notes so that way at the very end I can look over it and give it a very unbiased suggestion. Yeah, that was ridiculous, man. That was dope. All right, so we're against some kind of like strategy that likes to reanimate, I guess. So maybe Eidolon's coming. What comes out if Eidolons come in? I don't know. There's not a lot of things can block anyway, so I guess we're gonna bring some Eidolons in and Rampagers out. And I guess the mutagenic grows because I didn't see any like bolts or anything like that, so I don't care too much about it. Bring in one more Eidolon. And I guess let's bring in one mutagenic growth that, since we're testing Bushwhacker and I want to keep it around. So like yeah, hands like that are ridiculous in with this deck. But you got to get hands like that at least 70% of the time to justify it. Okay. This is one of the problems also with Dryad Arbor, is you get hands like this where you're like, oh, snap, keep, if it was not a Dryad Arbor. But I guess I will keep it. And hopefully I draw land next turn, and if I don't, there's a fair chance that I won't. I think I'll put the Dryad Arbor out first. Land? Ooh, summoned it. I summoned it with my magic. Alright, so now we have a very good opening hand again. Alright, so maybe Reckless Bushwhacker helps push up the turn 4 win 70% of the time and makes these hands look ridiculous. And if that's true, then it's a great card. Not good in, like, any other zoo that doesn't want to just, like, spam its hand out, but alright, this is an option. Let's see where this goes. Bad Moon. Man, it's been a while since I've seen that card. I haven't seen that card since I've been playing casually. Dude, you're in there for 3. I'm not stopping it. You are in there for 3. Alright, what do we draw? Dope! We got a fully evolved. Basically, our hand just turned from, like, meh to, like, yeah, there's no way you're stopping this. No, right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to outrace him. I don't think he's winning this race. Another Reckless Bushwhacker. That's ridiculous. We're going to put Dryad Arbor out there. We're going to cast this on... Who do I want to save more than anybody? Experiment 1 dies. That's seemingly fine. I can regen it, and it will be a 2-1. This doesn't trade, so it needs... Well, no, it would trade after Reckless goes in. I guess I'm more happy trading than to coddle, or you know, like that's what he's realistically going to choose. Although I could put it on the Dryad Arbor. And then make everything kill that thing. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. How do I pay it with that? Is that how I do it? Okay, that's new. MTGO, man, is weird. Cast with Surge. And this is a crap ton of damage. Removal spell, I'm sure. He's gonna kill his land. Okay. What is he gonna try to get? Like a white mana for Path to Exile or something? Victim of the Night. To destroy my Dryad Arbor. Sure. I'm genuinely pretty fine with that. I guess we attack with this too. If he blocks it, whatever, I still get him through for a crap ton of damage. Now I could take away that and it would drop him into a 2/2, which is not enough to kill it, so no. They can trade. No, we leave him with 1 mana and very little he can do with stuff on the field still. Plus I have a bolt, so if I draw a land here, I can Reckless Bushwhacker again. Or I can just bolt him to death. That's an option, I suppose. And so yeah, we'll just bolt here. All right. So Reckless Bushwhacker again helped push us through the win. So it did end the game. The pump was better than removal because I had removal in hand. I didn't use it. I did hit the turn 4 win, and Bushwhacker did specifically do that. Okay, let's do another match. How are we doing on time? All right, we still got about 20 minutes. So I can maybe fit, depending, 2 to 3 more matches in. This deck usually goes pretty fast. If I'm not winning, like by turn 4 or 5, I'm not going to play it out, just so that way I can fit more games in here. All right, this is a keepable hand. You can cast pretty much everything in it. That's all I'm really looking for with this kind of deck. And we'll get a Temple Garden. Yes. And we'll play the Nikotl. So I haven't really played any real decks aside from that one Delver deck. Thoughtseize, huh? Well, see you later, Tarmogoyf. I'm assuming Tarmogoyf goes. I mean, could be Lightning Bolt that goes, but that would be crazy. That's crazy talk. What do we got? Would have preferred to have that last turn, but it's okay. See, that's one of the things is that the Gruul do sometimes just like has terrible top decks. And like a Thoughtseize can just basically rip your game plan apart. I'm not going to unload these Mutagenic Growths until I know he's not playing red, or until even then, not until I know that he doesn't have like a removal spell for me. Bitter Blossom. All right, so he's a fairies deck. If he's a fairies deck, he is dead. This deck is going to wreck any sort of fairies. I mean, no, I don't really care. He's not going to slaughter pact me because we're just going to get in there with damage right now, because then all we got to do is not die for a couple turns. That Bitter Blossom becomes terrible. And like, especially because we're now like destroying his mana too. He can't Vendilion click us as well. Yeah, might as well cast it, right? It's gonna pump my experiment one up. I mean, lucky I had the land. That doesn't normally happen here. But he's gonna kill himself with his own, like, his own Bitter Blossom. So again, the pump was better than a removal spell here. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, live stream.
That's Tiffy.
Hi.
So did the pump help? Yes, the pump helped. Sure, I don't care. Kind of has to block. I won't throw my experiment one in there. It doesn't really matter. He's gonna die anyways. The only thing that he could possibly do is disfigure here. Oh, I was wrong about my time. I gotta start doing the Collected Company Zoo. So after this matchup, we'll switch into Collected Company. If he was gonna champion that Bitter Blossom, he would have to have done it like right there to not die. Cryptic Command. And he's gonna toss the Bitter Blossom back to his hand? Sure. So Reckless Bushwhacker didn't really make a difference there. It would have been everything would have been countered in that situation, so he has to cast some form of creature to block. I don't know why he didn't just tap bounce. I guess he decided to draw and no, I guess counter would have been, well, no, I would have just tap bounced. That would have been better. Got 4 mana. What do you do with it? Tassiger, huh? Sure. I guess that's fine. At any point in time, I can draw. Like, if I draw like a Goblin Guide or anything with haste, I win. I don't win here. But there's also tons of bolts in my deck, so that's something to say the least. This will get a Dryad Arbor. We know that one of the cards in his hands is a blank. We'll cast the Restless Bushwhacker. Haste does matter kind of here. Because all we gotta do is 1 damage. So even if the Dryad Arbor gets in, it's lethal. Sure, counter tap. We knew he was gonna have something. So doesn't matter. As long as we don't, like, even if we top deck a land, though, we've got at least 1 more Dryad Arbor in the deck. So Goblin Guide, Bolt, Atarka's Command. I'm gonna go for the swing here. I can get punished if I obviously I get punished if I miss. And I could have actually stopped at least one of those things from happening. But I was dumb and just did Duke. I should have casted the, well, no, because then the Curt Ape would have gotten countered. Seriously, I'm just buying myself time until I find the Bolt. Him barely being able to, like, to survive at 1 is incredibly rare. He must actually be somewhat of a good fairies player. Obviously not gonna block. Tarmogoyf blocks there. This trades, so might as well go for the trade. This also tells me he doesn't have removal spells anymore. Also, it stops a counterspell, which is relevant. And we know one of those cards in his hands is useless. It's a Bitter Blossom. So now Gore Clan's now live, as is Atarka's Command. We still got options. Goblin Guide. This guy's going to make us totally play it out. So yeah, he was just going to make it play us out. He's just eventually going to win this game. It's not a good matchup whatsoever for them. All right, so let's bring in the Eidolons, because that's against a blue deck. So we have been seeing a little bit of blue decks here. I don't care to bring a Natural State. If they bring in Bitter Blossom or they use Bitter Blossom, by all means, I don't care. These are maybe what I want to think about. Now, he's going to have chump blockers, so Gore Clan's fine here. Paths, obviously, for his guy. He's not going to have any bolts, so I've got no real reason to bring in Mutagenic Growth. He might have negative effects, but I'm not going to, like, rely on it. Bolt is even not that great here, so I'm actually going to take out the bolts. Because I might kill something important, might not, but it's not like I'm gonna like change my mind about things. I hope we win this one pretty fast because we gotta switch gears, go into the next testing phase. So that one I didn't get the turn 4. So let's see. Gotta write that down. Didn't get the turn 4. Yeah, keepable hand. No Thoughtseize, cool. This card's pretty bad against us anyways. I'm gonna Stomping Ground off of this. And we'll cast ourselves an Experiment 1. He's so experimenty. We're actually going to go ahead and cast another Experiment 1 followed by Goblin Guide. It's not getting in 5 damage, it's getting in 4, but then we'll get in more damage with the other Experiment 1 when we cast Nakal. So he's got a Mistbind click. Kept that in. He's going to go for the Bitter Blossom? No. He's going to Spreading Seas me. Okay. That's pretty good here. Oh, no, he didn't. I was like, what the fuck? Did I miss my combat phase? Spreading Seas legitly good here. That's actually something I didn't realize. We'll go for a Stomping Ground. And we'll go for the other Experiment 1. This is kind of crappy, but hopefully we draw a land. But yeah, just one land gets us out of the Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas oddly effective right here. Disfigure. Look at that. It's very common, by the way, for fairies to have just basically an entire sideboard dedicated to hate on aggro because they are so bad against it. Like, even with all this sideboard stuff that they're doing, I'm still maybe advantaged, to be honest. He's got a Ghost Quarter. No, we're going to get all our lands tapped next turn. He's going to have a 4/4 out. It's going to stink. That means we can't attack, but we can maybe Gore Clan Rampager over eventually. This is probably in his game. If we went first, wouldn't have been nearly as bad. He has the Ghost Quarter, so we know that he has access to casting his Mistbind Click. That, I don't think, was a smart idea. We'll attack into it. We'll see what happens. Vendilion Click, maybe? Snapcaster Mage on a... Yeah, we're not going to win this game. And I don't care to drag this game out. I got to do more testing. So, all right. Did it run out of gas? No, kind of got just sucked up, but we didn't win the game. And removal, none of that stuff would have mattered. So, okay. This is a terrible keep, so we're not going to keep it. This is a better keep, even though it's still pretty bad. We'll put the Dryad Arbor out first. Hopefully he doesn't, like, dismember it. Yep. See you later, man. Um, it was a risky play, but honestly, we needed to be aggressive. That's what this deck has to do, and with the hand that I had, there's really nothing else we could do. So I'm guessing Tarmogoyf is now gone. Hopefully we draw into something. Reckless Bushwhacker would be cool. Anything that I can cast would be cool. I should not be losing to fairies. I want to point this out. This guy, I'm gonna say that this guy's probably good at fairies. Why did he take out the burning tree instead of the Tarmogoyf? That seems like an awful, awful, awful decision. I guess he's got a kill spell, and he's more worried about me casting two things rather than one thing that I draw. At any rate, I have to play into his game, so. If this is a Bitter Blossom, then that's still pretty stupid. Yeah, Doomblade. So it's very clear to me that this guy had an entire sideboard dedicated to hating on um, an entire sideboard hated to dedicating on aggro, but this is actually going to break it right here. If he doesn't have a spell snare, he's done for because of this Edelon the Great Rebel. Especially if he's like out of removal. I won't even attack with the Edelon. No, I mean I'll attack with it, especially if my he lets me go. I have an extra path to exile mana open. So Spell Shutter Sprite, sure. Blood Moon, that would have been pretty good here. I think I've got Molten Rains in here though. Molten Rains are better for the big mana decks right now than Blood Moon is. 2 mana. Snapcaster. Alright, well that Snapcaster's really gonna hurt him. He has blockers for this experiment one. It's a pretty bad top deck. That's pretty average in this deck. Okay. At worst, I can just path to exile my own thing. Spreading Sea's actually really effective against this deck. Didn't realize that, but I guess it is. All right, so he's gonna cast the what do you call it? Oh, I didn't turn it off in time. Fuck. I can't believe I didn't turn that off in time. All right, so we know he has a Spell Stutter Sprite in hand, and that's it. Actually, an all-right top deck. I'm gonna attack all out because otherwise he's just gonna block with the Spellskite, and this will at least get 1 damage to 0 damage in, but it'll trade off his Snapcaster Mage. And I just would rather not have that on the field. I'm going to attack into this. I know he's going to block with his Creeping Tar Pit. Or he's just going to block here and eventually grind me down with his Creeping Tar Pit, which is a smart move. I don't think I'm winning this game anymore. He's pretty much stabilized. The path might have been the only thing worth mentioning. But unless I get something huge right here, I'm not going to win this game. Molten Rain's actually pretty good. Let's go for that. Let's see what he has in hand. Counterspell. All right, we're not gonna win this game. Yeah, just a bunch of lands and stuff. Yeah, we weren't gonna win this game. Okay, so we failed. And that's not very good, to be honest with you, because that's gonna be it's gonna be, you know, against Faye, which is pretty awful to lose against. Okay, let's go over what I got here. Did I hit the turn 4 lethal more than 70%? No, I actually lost 4 times out of 3 with 3 wins. So 4 times out of 7 is not good. Did Bushwhacker help do it? Yeah, Bushwhacker did, actually. Bushwhacker pushed it over a lot of times. So 2 out of 0 times. So 2 out of those 3 times Bushwhacker did it. So yeah, Bushwhacker gets the nod on that. Did the pump help? Yeah, Bushwhacker's pump did win us some stuff. So yeah, pump was better than removal in pretty much all of those situations. Did the removal help? There was only 1 time that I needed removal right away. So I think we're probably fine where we are with 6. Did Bushwhacker end the game 2 out of 3 times? Yes. So Bushwhacker did in fact win the game. Yeah. Did it run out of gas? Yeah, it did a couple times. So let's say, did it run out of gas? Yeah, it did about 2 times. That's not in its favor. I should just X. So end thoughts on Gruul. Yes, the Bushwhacker helped out a lot. The Bushwhacker was great, but it didn't solve the problem. In fact, maybe exacerbated the problem of the fact that it can't go mid game. So it's explosive, which is great, but not stable and doesn't win a long game at all. So maybe you should be playing red deck wins. Let's go ahead and go into talking about Collected Companies now, and see what we want to do. Again, like always, I've got a couple different things that I've been working on. Let's sort this by converted mana cost, because it's always gross if you don't do it that way. Let's look at what we're playing against, where our meta's been. So we saw a Delver, a Fae. We saw some blue in the things, but nothing on the top decks. We saw a fuck ton of affinity. Metric, fuck ton of affinity. So let's toss that out of here. Stony Science is probably the better card to play with. I'm going to play with, again, a full set of, what do you call them? Natural states. Where's that natural state at? At first, and then we'll talk about it. So red deck wins. There wasn't actually a ton of red deck wins at all that I've seen. So maybe not red deck wins. Maybe we don't have Core Firewalker. We saw a lot of big mana. So we need something to stop big mana. Um, let's not do our sideboard right now. Let's look at our main deck. I guess that's what we should do first. We see affinity, a ton of affinity. So Pride Mage keeping his spot. We see a lot of Jund and Junk. That's Voice of Resurgence and Thalia is doing a great job there. And to go back to my post to see what we had there for Hate Bears, we had Pride Mage, Teg, which is an interesting choice. Ooze, Voice, Meddling Mage if we feel like we need it, but I don't think we're seeing as much combo as I thought we might, so Meddling Mage isn't super great. Fleece Mane Lion's an interesting one, because it's good against Hate Bears, Meller Company, Kiki Cord, basically mid-rangery kind of deck, mid-range combo decks, mid-range decks, which I'm not seeing a freak ton of. But there's a fair amount of them. Your biggest things that are in here are Affinity, and mid-range and big mana. Those are what we need to focus on. Big mana, Affinity, and mid-range. Scavenging Ooze doesn't actually help us all that much. Ooze is good against Junk, Jund, Hate Bears, Meller Company, Grixis Control, Delver, Zoo, Scapeshift, and Grizzlebrand. So Ooze is actually not super great, but I don't know what I would replace it with. Maybe more Pride Mages and Voices? I think it probably keeps its spot because it's still good enough against Junk and Jund, which I'm seeing enough of to warrant its inclusion. As far as the main deck goes with 3 CMC beaters, then Woolly Thoktar could probably go. Thoktar being good against, let's see here. Oh, I didn't even put, did I not even put Thoktar down? Sheesh, I didn't even put Thoktar down. Thoktar is good against, like, not control decks, but, like, just, like, Hate Bears and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't usually want to interact with us with removal spells, but we can outbeef them. So probably not seeing a ton of those. Thoktar can go. Bramaz is actually probably going to stay, because we're seeing Jund, Junk, Hate Bears, Meller Company, Kiki Cord, Eldrazi, Merfolk, Burn, Grixis Control, Delver, and Zoo being good against. Are any of these guys good against Affinity? Like, is there any 3-drops that are good against Affinity? I don't think so, right? I guess, actually, there might be. Yeah, there is one 3-drop that would be good against Affinity. And I'm going to bring in. Can't believe I'm doing this, but there's so much Affinity that apparently it might be a good idea. We're going to bring in a Reclamation Sage. Because you can do that, turns out. So Reclamation Sage isn't the greatest 3-drop beater. In fact, it's pretty awful when it comes to 3-drop beating. But maybe we don't even do that. Maybe we do a removal spell instead. No, we're just going to actually go up one more Pride Mage. That's what we're going to do. We're going up to 3 Pride Mages. That seems great to me. And be a little bit lackluster on our 3-drops, although I'd have preferred to have at least one more 3-drop in there. It was either that or birds. I think our land stuff is pretty good here. I'm actually going to take out the core Firewalkers, since I don't seem to need them as much, and either bring in Kitchen Finks. Yeah, I'm going to bring in Kitchen Finks, because Kitchen Finks can actually be brought in against a couple different things. So I'll bring in the Kitchen Finks here at 3 converted mana cost. Now, Blood Moon's good against Junk and Jund. Good-ish against Junk and Jund. Although they seem to be running it themselves nowadays. But maybe it's not super great. And maybe Crumble the Dusts are better for the big mana decks. Is Crumble the Dust good enough to bring against Jund? I don't actually know. Sigarda is good against Jund and Junk. That's stuff that can stay here. Aethersworn Canonist is not super great. I don't know why I have Mydalara in there. That shouldn't be in there. Good. Go away, man. Remove. Add sideboard. Grim Lavamancers are good. I don't have a ton of dudes though. Like creatures. That's something to consider. Against big mana decks, what do? We've got Crumble to Dusts, and that's, man, I guess Elspeth to try to like push out more damage. What else can we have in the sideboard that'll help us against the big mana decks? That's maybe a creature. Because as far as Jund goes, we've got an Elspeth. We've got, do I have another Elspeth? No, I just have one Elspeth online at least. We have an Elspeth. Let's see here. We've only got these many creatures. That kind of blows. Maybe another Thalia or another Voice for the Jund decks. Because Voice is actually really good against the Jund decks. What other choices do I have here? And by the way, this is definitely the process that I go through pretty much all the time. Maybe, no, Spellskite's probably not worth it anymore. Actually, Taxi's War Mage, probably fine. Yeah, we're going to just run this. The Natural States, probably, I don't need 4 of them. I already can see that I'm probably going to use 2 of them, and they're probably also just going to be Stony Silences. But I'm only running 4 for testing. So, alright, this seems to be fine. Let's go with this then. Nope, 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 not yet. That's with the Gruul. Alright, so again, to go over what our checklist is going to be, the event was canceled. I can contact someone. Well, that sucks. So to go over what the checklist is I'm going to say where my hate bear is correct. Did Collected Company grab them, especially out of sideboard? Was Elspeth better than Collected Company? Would I rather counter? Do I need blue? Would I rather destroy? Do I need black? Am I too slow? Or do I need to pick different 3CMC beaters? On the die roll, we'll go first. We can keep this hand, yes. I didn't see the Temple Garden at first. I've been watching a lot of Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Nope. Yield till end of turn. It'd be funny if this was Affinity. Okay, he's just gonna watch me to see how I win. Let's see if I can not reveal that I have red. We'll just go for what's the most efficient beatdown. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and say that's enough for that. Okay. Maybe I should have put down the Scavenging Ooze then and just beat with Scavenging Ooze. I don't know if he knows that I'm a Zoo deck. He might just think I'm like a Melora deck. I don't know. We have absolutely no idea what he is, so we're just going to go ahead and submit deck. That's actually a play that you can do. If you mulligan, just keep mulling. So green for Llanowar Elves, so he's an elf deck. Okay. As an elf deck, we're probably just going to try to expediate into the beatdown plan. We'll see if he sideboarded in against Melora stuff against me. which I guess would still be somewhat okay. Or if you sell it sideboard in like Kiki Pod stuff. It is in fact an elf deck, as we can see by so many elves. Elf decks sometimes just draw the wrong half of their deck and don't work. We're hoping that's the situation here. And if he's just trying to do the beatdown plan, well, neither Elquary is going to be pretty tough to not be to get blocked or to be blocked. Both really. He was going to get Collected Company off regardless of what I did if he had an extra land. So there's no reason to put down the Thali out there. Might as well just put down the Miss Beefcakes. See what we can get. Let me guess what the creature type is. Elf? Yo. Dude, I'm like psychic. I know these things. No attacks? Okay. Alright, guess we'll reveal that we have red. Because we're going to put out a Nacatl now, so. We're going to need the red for the Kessick Wolfram. If he just blocks here, I mean, that's fine with me too. Again, he still has the mana to Collected Company, but he'd have to Collected Company up something really good to do his blocks. So we'll put out the Thalia at this point and force him to do his Collected Company right now. If he's gonna Collected Company. Not that it really matters. He has the way to pay for it. It would just cost him 1 life if he waited. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's gonna. Oh, it's Court of Calling. Sure. Court of Calling for 3. I'm gonna guess either for an Overrun Elf or the Lord Druid. Overrun Elf, sure. He can't. Well, he can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so he can overrun. But if it doesn't kill me, I think can I kill him on the swing back? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. I can't even kill him on the swing back. We're probably not going to win this game. Depending on what we draw, we're not going to win this game. We're just not going to win this game. Begin sideboarding. All right, we're going to take in the Grim Lavamancers. and the Bonfire of the Damned. I don't think I bring in the Kitchen Finks here. I got no real reason to. Collected Company, I could outvalue him for that, sure. Thalias aren't super great here. Pride Mage isn't super great here. We'll be going first. That's something worth noting. We will keep this. I guess so. I guess that was a Sacred Foundry with that guy. The hope is that we get a Time Leak Bonfire of the Damned. That's what we want. Alright, so do we want to put a Voice Out or a Tarmogoyf? I think a Tarmogoyf because we're going to want a Path next turn probably. And then Tarmogoyf will be a 2/3. Especially if he puts like a 2/2 out and blocks with it, and we can path at instant speed. Sure, Elfish Visionary is in. That Heritage Druid is not living past this turn, mind you. That kind of blows, changes my mind a little bit. Should have casted the Voice so that way I could have casted the Tarmogoyf and used this land and path. My bad. Hope that doesn't cost me the game. We could theoretically just still collect a company out of this. Alright, so he's got another Heritage Druid. That kind of blows, but whatever. And into a Collected Company. So this guy's got a pretty nutty draw here. Especially with an Elfish Archdruid now. So, yeah, nothing I could really do in this situation. Probably just lose. Hi, Dryad Arbor. I very likely just lose here. Paying alternate costs for something? Yeah, we lose. There's I don't care what he's casting. We're losing it. No reason to wait around for that one. We've lost that game. Let's move on to a different game. I don't got time to wait for this thing. Alright, we'll keep it. It's got removal, it's got voice, it's got path, it's got knight, and a way to expedite into a knight. So did my hate bears matter there? I could have had a Teg, I suppose, but it's such a narrow case, it's not even really worth mentioning. Like, Teg would have helped, I suppose. But, yeah, that's a pretty narrow case. Academy Ruins. Okay, odd. But sure, it's probably Blue Tron. Pithing Needle. I hope Pithing Needle names Noble Hierarch, because it is a mana ability. Wooded Foothills. Okay, that's an odd thing to try to lay your bets on, but whatever floats your boat, man. This is another Orrery. Could have waited a turn. Could have had another Orrery target. I almost question whether or not I should attack with my knight. Like, if he's got another Pithing Needle, should I maybe activate my knight? Probably not. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not going to play that deck. No. Not doing it on stream. Absolutely not. Not going to do it. It's not that I have like a personal vendetta against the Lantern control deck or anything. It's just that deck takes so ungodly long, and I've only got like 20 more minutes, 30 more minutes to play. So I've got no reason to play against it. I'm just not going to do it. And I said thank you for the game, not going to play, sorry. I gave him a good reason why. I'm not like an asshole, but I'm just not going to do it. Like, I could probably win. It's just, it's going to take me 40 minutes to win, and I don't want to take 40 minutes to win on this stream. I want to get testing results. All right, so we got a Godless Shrine, Inquisition of Kozilek. Really, we've seen one blue deck, I guess the Fairies deck, but we've seen mostly other just random crap right now. So Tarmogoyf is getting stripped. I think I might have actually, if I was him, maybe stripped the Noble Hierarch. Because Brimaz is a piece of work, man. Against especially blue-white decks, he does his job. All right, so we're against the junk deck then. Well, Brimaz is pretty good against junk, man. It's not like the best, but in this situation, it's better than the Lexon Smiter at any rate. Kitchen Finks, sure, I can just path that thing, so I'm not like too torn about it. I don't even think I'm gonna path it though. think I'd rather just cast Collected Company, honestly, and just forego the extra 1 damage that I'll get out of this. So I'd rather do Path on something like a Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino would worry me. Kitchen Finks isn't crazy, saying this as a zoo player. Doesn't worry me right now. And blocking here is fine. He'll negate a couple damage, gain a couple more. But overall, like, I'm not super worried about it because I can bolt it easily as well. So the second version of it. Didn't kill my creature. Damnation. Sure. Oh, I should have floated the mana. I didn't float the mana. Why did I float my mana? Ah, dumb me. It's fucking stupid on me. I could have, and I should have. I was an idiot, guys. I could have won this game. I could have won it, but I didn't. I'm guessing Siege Rhino, 5 mana is a little crazy though. Vrask. Destroy target non-land permanent, and until end turn whenever deals combat to her, you can destroy that creature. You put a bunch of assassins into play. Yeah, I don't care about that. Totally fine. Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't care about that thing. Yeah, we'll put Tarmogoyf and Tarmogoyf into play. Hopefully we don't get Maelstrom Pulsed. I think I'm actually gonna kill off the. No, because this is gonna do more damage if I just attack him straight up. Because he'll kill off my Tarmogoyf and then I'll bolt it. Alright, that's fine with me. Okay, do you want to up it? That's fine with me. I have lethal on the board now. I guess we're getting a live demonstration as to why Vraska is not the greatest card in the world. Okay. They don't have haste, right? I guess you could path, right? And then I get myself a dude off of it. Sure. Yes, I would like to use the path. I'm not going to play my... I've got lethal on the board. I got lethal on the board. I don't need to cast... Sure, you get 3 assassin tokens. You can have those assassin tokens. Nighthawk, sure. So I could have casted Tarmogoyf there and probably won the game right there, but I didn't, and the reason why was because he's got Damnation's main. Sure, it's not changing anything. Still not really changing anything. All right, I win, I guess, right? Technically. I can bolt that. At this point. Cast a Goyf. He has to block with all of his dudes. And even if I path one, then it doesn't all that matter because he'll go down to some amount of life. I go down to 3. So I'm just going to let him block all out. And if he has like a removal spell and he wants to leave one so that he can just win the game with an attack, I got a path for it. So it's not like I care. If he Damnations, he wipes his own board. Yeah, that was a known commodity that was going to happen. We're going to run over. We're going to go about 1:30. If I'm late for work, I don't really care all that much. What are we going to bring in? Kind of want to bring in the Crumbles to Dusts just to test it out. The sideboard is definitely a mess here. I have no clue what the sideboard's going to be. I think I need a little bit more time to look at the meta to decide what the sideboard's going to be. But Voices, Kitchen Finks, those all look good, honestly. Sigard is a most definite. And so is actually the Elspeth. I think we can take out the bolts pretty happily. Thalias are, I suppose, pretty good there. The Pride Mages are pretty lackluster, I suppose. Alright, well that actually opens up some room for us. Let's just, I want to test out if Crumble to Dust are any good in sort of Junk or Jundee matchups. You exile target land, right? Search its controllers, graveyard, hand, and library for that many lands and get it out of here. It's probably not any good. It's probably not Molten Rain like I want it to be. Maybe Crumble to Dust should be Molten Rain. These are questions that I have, and no one has the answers to yet. So, Collected Company hasn't really done anything for me yet. Were my hate bears the correct ones? Voice obviously was. Voice did some work there. Would Elspeth have been better than Collected Company? Probably there. Elspeth would have been fine. Maybe this is the time for Elspeth to come back. which wasn't like super for, but I'm not super against either. Let's check the zoo thread. Nothing new. Okay. And if you guys want this, if you're late, whatever, you can, since it's on YouTube, you can actually rewind if you want at any point in time and watch stuff. But on the flip end, it will also go to, it'll also be saved. It's just going to take a while for it to upload. All right, man. You gonna play the game? Do I have anyone else that I could just automatically start with? If I did, I'd switch it over. All right, he's playing. Fine. Yeah, keepable hand. Keep. I'm gonna turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 play. Guy saying that he could have gotten an assassin through. I was just like, no, I had a path. You weren't getting that through thing ever. Let's see here. Actually, think we might want to do the order of play with Athalia because he's got so much. Well, he's got more creatures than I was expecting. No Blood Moon in the deck, so I don't need to go for basics all the time. The Blood Moon would have been better. I think we're going back to Blood Moon, personally. Oh, I should have gotten a Temple Garden there. My bad. That's going to mess up return 3 play. Still not totally used to... There we go. All right, that's fine. We're good again. Everything's fine. I'm going to go with Thalia. I think he's got enough non-creature spells that matters. He was like, wait, Thalia, damn it. Whenever I see people untap and then tap and then untap, like they're like, oh, it's Thalia. All right, that's going to get pathed, and we're just going to Tarmogoyf. I guess I can't just path. I don't really want to trade my Wild Nicottle. No, I think I'd rather do the damage. Or would I? Would I rather hold on to that path or not? That's the question. You know what? I think it's fine if my Nicottle dies. I want to put out the Did I not attack with Nicottle on the first turn? Was I like an idiot and didn't attack? I must have been, right? Because his life total doesn't show that. Okay, I was an idiot. Seems fine. I'm getting towards the end of my Magic run here.
So here we can do a bunch of stuff after this, so I'm not like butthurt about the kitchen finks being able to do blocks. Because overall I'm still doing pretty well late game, especially with Thalia sticking around. Yeah, and like Vampire Nighthawk I'm actually more scared of. Because that Death Touch. It's kind of weird to use Path to Exile and have Thalia out, but it kind of works out in my favor, so I don't totally mind. We're also going to put the voice out, and the specific reason is if he wipes the board. And I guess I've given him green, but that doesn't seem too awful. He blocks the token to kill it, that's fine. If he blocks this, alright, well I'm still getting in for 1 damage, and that's actually more than Smiter was getting me in for. In that situation. I think Oreo King's real, man. I think he's real now that there's like no blue around. He's the king of Oreos.
Yummy.
See? He's the Oreo King.
Why are you saying that?
Look, isn't his name looks like Oreo.
Yeah, it does.
It's for Maz. He's a happy little kitten with a glass of milk, and he's king of Oreos. No. So if he wipes the board, I'm still genuinely okay. He can't. Ghostly Prison is a weird thing to have, but I guess he had it in his sideboard. Crumble to Dust. Here is where I could play it and ruin him. Yeah, Crumble to Dust. Guys, I just found out Crumble to Dust is pretty bad. We'll just pay for two attackers. Seems fine with me. And the 2 attackers I'm going to attack with are, I guess, these 2. Just in some way, if this gets slaughter packed, at least I get something out of it. And I still get a token, which is kind of crazy. The token still attacks. I don't need to Ghostly Prison that token up. I need to put down a land, so I guess, yes, I'd like to be able to attack with more creatures. And that's the other thing, is after this has been pathed, now at least I still have 2 tokens. I mean, granted, Ghostly Prison. But I have 2 tokens. And that's something that Smiter was not getting me. So at worst, I have blockers, you know? Gonna kill his own land, huh? Cannibalism. That does not mean he's in a good situation. I'm sure this Thalia is messing with him. Especially since he, like, cut himself completely off of, green now. What, to path my Thalia? Maybe he has a Tarmogoyf? Alright, well, we're still attacking for at least 3. Or would I rather cast... I'd rather cast the Tarmogoyf than hit for 1 extra damage. I have enough to hit for 4 damage, but I don't think that's really where I want to be at. I guess I could have attacked with 1 token because of the path. I didn't do the calcs in my head. But he's gonna have a hard time. Well, that changes some things too. He's gonna have a hard time. I could theoretically destroy him off of some lands, but I don't think that changes the math at all here. I think I just start attacking. I don't have enough to do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't have enough for that. I have to pay 2, pay 2, pay 2, so I'm 1 mana short. Yeah, that sounds fine. Blood Moon probably would have been the best thing to have here. Gonna go ahead and cast the Kitchen Finks. This way, if I draw a land and he damnations me, then I still have a way to just win. Vampire Nighthawk, sure. Collected Companies, interesting. I don't think I collected company into anything worth noting, though. It's not like I'm running out of creatures. That's for damn sure. This will attack with the Kitchen Finks. We can only attack with 1 thing anyways. Might as well attack for the thing that can regenerate, technically. I suppose I could have collected company maybe into extra mana just to try to trample over kind of deal. Nether Reliquary is not super huge here. If he had removal, he would have been using it. Alright. Math changes. Alright, we win. Cool. Took a while, but yeah, it happened. We can fit 1 more game in. I know it's kind of jippy because Gruul Zoo is a lot faster. We played against you already, man. Let's see what we got against. We won the die roll. Cool. And we have a bunch of Quasai Prime Mages. Keep. Let's start out with something that we can get a red source with, I suppose. If he puts out a mana dork, we'll bolt it. Looks like this is probably Kiki Pod. I think I played this guy before, and it's Kiki Pod. Or Kiki Pod. Haha. No, it's zoo. It's a zoo. It's a zoo deck. Everybody. It'd be kind of funny if this was the like the Gruul zoo. He's got the mutagenic growth. He's got the mutagenic growth. Nope. No mutagenic growth here. Alright, we're cracking for basics now. That is one of the good things about this version of the zoo deck, is that you can just start cracking for basics now. Also, I could theoretically mana screw him with the Ghost Quarter. Oh. Oh, you're getting Ghost Quartered. I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna hate it. I'll wait till next turn to do it. I'm not in a super rush here. I think I'd rather put down some beef. Just take advantage of the fact that you're already tempo ruined. Oh, you're gonna block this anyways. I'd be interested to find out if this is a bigger zoo or it's got to be a smaller zoo, right? Because it's using the crate. I'm gonna attack all out. If he blocks one of my Pride Mages, I'm not really upset about it. Sure. Let's see if he's got another bolt. Oh, he does have another bolt. Oh, I'm just messing around, guys. I really gotta be honest with you. I'm just having fun. But this potentially screws him, though. Because we stranded him with one land in hand. Or one land. Oh, no! He's getting out of it. He's battling back. Battling Jack Murdoch. Keswick Wolf Run. Cool, thanks for giving me the Keswick Wolf Run, man. If I drew that, that would have been a dead draw. Good thing it's not a dead draw anymore. That was a lot of fun. We're still not dead by any stretch of the imagination. If you didn't have the bolt, by the way, that would have been completely in my favor. We win! We win! We've casted a Noble Hierarch! So we won the game. Why? We would have gotten the Knight of Valkyrie next turn and just started destroying them. So that was the Gruul version, and it petered. It pretty much petered. So that's kind of helping the theory that I've got going on in my mind right now. Keep. One thing to notice is that I've been just keeping hands. I've never been in a point here where I'm like, oh god, can't keep anything. No. I've been like that with the Gruul Zoo, though. I have an update available. Excellent. Excellent. As long as I've got an update available, everything's going to be... fuck, we're against like a mono red deck, aren't we? I guess we go for the Stomping Ground and we have it tapped. I was considering putting out Tarmogoyf out there, but it could get bolted. Guess it's not getting bolted. Okay, so that's the kind of deck we're playing against, huh? Probably playing against like a Delver deck. For my testing, the Delver deck hasn't been super great. Oh, hit something. Did something. There we go. Battle him. You add. Okay, so maybe it's a Bushwhacker deck, right? That's got to be what it is. Okay, I'm getting tired of these. Getting tired of these. I just want to play a game. I just want to play Magic. I just want to play Magic. Even this hand's somewhat keepable. Like, I could keep it. I'm not, but I could. This is way more keepable hand. Like, even the hands where I probably shouldn't keep, I could probably get away with keeping it. It doesn't matter what I put on top. Fetch land sort of negate that whole scry thing when you're on the play. I'm trying to think what I want to have as my turn 2 play. I'm gonna probably want to be greedy here. Go for a stomping ground. Depends on what I draw. I'll either get a basic with this or I won't get a basic with this. It needs to get white regardless. I guess the other option is I could get a Temple Garden. No, I'll go for Stomping Ground. I'm just doing math in my head as to the Brimaz. You gotta when you have a double mana requirement on your 3 Seer, you need to kind of know how to play out your lands. So I guess I've seen a fair amount of blue decks-ish, but none of them did very well. They all kind of left because their deck fell apart on themselves. I don't know. I haven't even seen an Affinity either, but I guess what I gotta do is I gotta play online to the actual tournaments. Yeah, we'll go for a basic. He gets pathed. Yep. I'm genuinely okay with that path. If this isn't a deck really worth mentioning, then I'm going to just go ahead and quit and talk about the 2 decks. I guess I could talk about the 2 decks right now. Is Bushwhacker better than what I thought it was? Yes. This Reckless Bushwhacker is definitely better than I thought it was going to be. That being said, I'm not saying that it's like broken. Casting this, by the way, main phase, so that way if I get mana dorks, at least they give me Exalted triggers. Nope, instead I just get pretty much the best thing I can get. It is definitely better than I thought it was going to be. That being said, I don't think it pushes the Gruul Zoo better than this Zoo. I just don't. I don't think I made any careless mistakes when I was playing that deck earlier. That's one of the reasons why I played it first. And I just don't think it's got it's more explosive, which helps the deck out because that's the deck's strength, is its speed, its explosiveness. but I don't think it's better than the Collected Company Zoo. The Collected Company Zoo is worse if you don't play with it correctly. But as you guys saw, like I've been playing with the Bramaz King of Oreos, and I've actually been doing really well with it. Especially because even here, like against junk decks and stuff like that, if he kills off my if this was a smiter, he could kill off my smiter, and then that would suck for me, right? But instead, he's going to kill off this, leaving my knight. And that makes my knight stronger at the end of the day. And in fact, I'm not even going to attack with my knight here. I know he's a junk deck now, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it to get myself like Keswick Wolfrun or something. Something similar to that extent. So yeah, no, Brewmass is better than Smiter when you're not playing a bunch of blue decks. And even then, when he was Inquisitioned my hand, he took out Knight. He didn't take out this. I mean, there's other things that he would take out. It's not like these are better options, you know? Like, the Smiter's discard clause is somewhat relevant, but not, like, the only things that it's good against, not even Lily, because Lily -2s against us more than she +1s. Unless you top deck her and don't cast your Smiter, which is dumb, then you're hindering yourself. Alright, so Lingering Soul is cool. Fine with me. That's the reason why I didn't attack with the knight, is so I can get the Keswick Wolfrun. Gonna go ahead and bolt right now. Kill off this basic. Grab myself the Keswick Wolfrun. And win this game. He might have a Slaughter Pact. I don't know. So I'm not going to attack by just one thing. I'm going to attack all out. And I'll put the Noble Hierarch out there. Cool, he doesn't have a Slaughter Pact. Alright, so Crumbled Dust is going back into becoming a Blood Moon. That was stupid of me to pull it out, but whatever. Elspeth, Sigarda, Kitchen Things, Voice. I'm sure there are better things to pick than this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Looming Shaman. Maybe, I think actually one Voice in the side's probably fine. I think this is actually probably all right to bring in, though. If I brought in Blood Moon, like two of Blood Moon, it would be perfect. Take out the Kaswalis. And the bolts, because the bolts aren't really doing anything. Should I leave 2 bolts in? I guess I'll leave 2 bolts in over the Quasalis. You know what? Actually, Quasalis sounds better to me, to be honest with you. So that's my thing is Reckless Bushwhacker didn't solve the problem of Gruul Zoo, which is that it's unstable. It either explodes or it doesn't. And that didn't solve that problem. It, in fact, exasperates it. Now, it makes it better, like you're not going to not run it, because it makes it better in the fact that that you have a better chance of winning 70% of the time then. But I'm not going to cut, like, Tarmogoyf out of it, because Tarmogoyf is literally the only card in that deck that gives that deck any form of staying power whatsoever. So if you were hoping that it was going to be a replacement, it doesn't. It doesn't replace it. It's something that you could get away with having less of, I guess, but it's not better. As far as the Coco goes, I don't know. I gotta test with this more. Maybe I'll do another test date and stream it. I have no clue. But the Coco, I can already feel. Collected Company, I already hate the word Coco. Collected Company has better. I can already feel that it's better. Cool, Sigarda. It's just got more options in the sideboard, more options in the main deck. I can tweak this more. I don't know if I'm going to splash yet. I haven't really seen any real reason to. I haven't needed to counterspell anything yet at all. Like 0 counterspells that were needed today. And there's not a lot on the list of things that need counterspells. Counterspells are bad against big mana decks. Counterspells are... that's pretty cool, getting another Noble Hierarch. We're going to get right in this, Sigarda. Best you better believe it. I haven't felt the need for counterspells at all. The only thing that blue would give me at this point in time, with where the meta is at right now, is Geist. There has been enough removal spells that I could think about splashing for Geist. As far as the combo goes, I don't know. I'm not super sold on it yet. It's something worth looking at. I might do the blue splash literally for Geist and only Geist. Should draw every single one of them. Part of me wants to just put down 2 Noble Hierarchs. Jeez Louise. I think I will. And then just go right into that. Seems awesome. And if he kills one, that's fine. I can put an ooze out and eat it. Sigarda is so good. And it can't even be Inquisitioned. Or killed. Holy crap, Sigarda is going to destroy this game. You want to kill off one of my primate? I wouldn't care. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. I don't care. I can shrink it too. Just put out that thing. Say, you can't counterspell it, you can't kill it. Just gonna put it out here. It's gonna do 7 damage to you a turn now. Like, I've never casted Sigarda this quickly and this, like, ferociously. Oh my god, and it's just gonna win the game. This is really funny. But anyways, this is going to show you, again, the power of this version versus the Gruul. Like, if I was in Gruul's situation here, I would have gotten one of my dudes killed, and I would have had maybe 2 more dudes, and they would have put down a Tarmogoyf and started just to not have... I wouldn't be able to win from there. Like, it would have been a blocker, and unless I had a Rampager, which he had Path Mana open, I don't think I could have won that game. The funny thing is, now I'm going to put down Ooze, and I'm just going to shrink the Goyf. I'm just going to shrink the Goyf. I guess he can put down Souls, but that doesn't really stop me either. It delays it. And I can put down the Ooze and eat the other half of the Souls. And I have another Ooze backup now? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I'm losing this game. Is he going to path something? Maybe to kill off my Noble Hierarch, and then I'll just float a mana? Okay. Like, I'm genuinely okay with that. I'm going to put down a Tarmogoyf, since it blocks here. And I don't want to put my ooze into something where it's just going to die. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. I gotta rush this because I actually do need to get to work, and I'm gonna be running late. Yeah, I think the Collected Company is still the better version, or at least I'm sorry, the big zoo. Whether it's Elspeth or Collected Company is debatable. You'd have to look at their strengths. So Collected Company is better against combo-esque decks or decks where you need to find certain hate bears. The Elspeth deck is better against things like mid-range and big mana. So if we are in a meta where it's just going to be big mana and mid-range, then I want to do Elspeth. And if we're in a meta that's going to be like mid-range, yes, I do. I don't think this guy realizes all this is doing is actually feeding my next scavenging juice. Go on, swing it, dude. You're in there. If it's another Tarmogoyf, this is going to be really funny. It is another Tarmogoyf. Oh, jeez. Does he got another path? I mean, I'm still at a distinct advantage here. So I could swing in with my Noble Hierarch and have a 2/3 Noble Hierarch. He just blocks it with the Tarmogoyf. I just think I go just super on the offensive here. We're both got no cards in hand. The difference is I can block his Tarmogoyfs all day long. And he can't do anything about my flying 7/7. Other than maybe hopefully draw another souls, I guess. Nope. I mean, you can attack all out and I can block, but I still win that race. I actually see no reason for him not to have attacked there. At least with the shambling vent. You got nothing else in your hand. Draw a card. Let's swing for 7 in the air. This is one of the downsides to Path to Exile, man, is you just ramp me into just basically doing anything that my deck wants to offer. At this point, I honestly don't have very many lands left in the deck. I don't think I'm running on pure gasoline. guess he could have Damnation. Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls is a pretty good draw there. Thalia's alright of a draw on my end of things, I guess. Or he's buying himself time again. But very quickly, it's going to be a losing battle for him, and he's going to be staring down so many creatures. I'm just waiting. If I get a Keswick Wolfrun, the game's over. Keswick Wolfrun, Collected Company. I'm trying to think what else just basically ends this game. Knight of the Reliquary. Burmaz. Ooze doesn't really end this game at this point. For him, if anything, it just makes his Tarmogoyfs weaker. Burmaz is pretty good here. Alright, so what do we do? We obviously attack in here, but I think we might want to go for an all-in attack. He can't shrink my Goyf down. I just think we go in for an all-in attack at this point. Really shrink his army down. He can double block, but that's going to make him lose some creatures, and I still have more than him at the end of the day. I guess he can gain some life with the ooze then. If he double blocks. But he's deciding not to double block. I would have probably tried to value that ooze man. Burmaz is good here. He puts down a creature too. If he decides to attack, you know, you can kill my token, but I kill his Goyf then. I might legitly be out of. I guess I don't attack with this guy. If he wants to trade, he can trade. I don't mind trading my Burmaz at this point. The real threat is the fact that he's going to be losing blockers for Sigarda. So he can't put a spirit token on anything else, or else he's going to just lose to Sigarda. So this attack basically gives me 1 extra damage. And puts Sigarda as a 1-turn clock now. Now I don't actually think I have anything that I can get from here, right? I've used up all my actual lands that I can grab. Yeah, I've used up all my lands that I can grab, so there's no reason to crack this unless I were to have a Knight of the Reliquary in the field. It's kind of funny that he had all those paths. I mean, that's definitely Sigarda's kicking his ass then. If he has Damnation, it would actually be pretty good for him. Maelstrom Pulse on the Bramaz. Sure. But here's again one of the plus sides. I get a Cat Soldier. So even though he Maelstrom Pulsed on my Bramaz, I got a Cat Soldier. Drawing a little lackluster here, to be honest. If I attack all out, he blocks here, and I still get 1 damage in. Doesn't really matter, though. So I guess we'll just attack with the flyer. Because you can only block here, anyways. Getting in 1 damage is not my #1 strategy. Here he's got something that has reach as well. So he could reach and block. Again, we'd only be getting in 1 damage unless I suddenly pull a Kessek Wolfrun out of my butt or something. Well, that's almost the equivalent of pulling a Kessek Wolfrun out of my butt. Not quite the same. Force him to block with his land. Right, I know. Come on, Wolfrun, right? Just Wolfrun and we're done. But hey, Knight of the Reliquary is pretty much Wolfrun. It's a Wolfrun that says if this guy doesn't have a way to kill my Knight of the Reliquary, it's Wolfrun. It's over. But at this point, pretty much everything's lethal for him. Because Wolfrun breaks the Stallmate in half. Alright, cool. What we've drawn. Staring Wildwood. That would have also helped. Yeah, there was no way we were losing that. This basically, we just did this, and from that point on, he was behind. So overall, yeah, no, I think Collected Company is the better version of it. You get more outs. You got to understand the deck better. You got to build it better. But you can. And as long as you know what you're doing, you can do it. I'm going to take a real good look at the meta as we go on and see which is the way I want to go with it. Do I want to do the blue splash? I definitely don't think... No, the black splash might be relevant too, because there's big mana as a thing. It might be a thing, you know? With the destroy effects, maybe even Anafenza, Stomp, and Siege Rhino. I don't know. Those we're going to look into, but Gruul Zoo, it's just not doing it with the Reckless Bushwhacker. The Reckless Bushwhacker is better than Flint Hoof Boar. I had 2 openings in my deck for Flint Hoof Boar. Now they're going to be Reckless Bushwhackers. That's basically it. I don't think it changes it all that much. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got about 5 minutes to get to work and get changed, so that's what I got to do. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I will be able to show you guys some more stuff very soon. All right. Bye, guys.